You're watching Dontaesboxingnation.
Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? So negotiations have already began when it comes to Canelo versus Caleb Plant. And Caleb Plant just came out and said that he wants $10 million to fight against Canelo Alvarez. Now, because of the position that Caleb Plant is in right now, I personally think he should have demanded even more money. He should have demanded $15 to $20 million because Caleb Plant has something that Canelo Alvarez desperately wants and can only get through the Caleb Plant fight. And that is the undisputed title at 168. Now, if you ran across a story and it said that Caleb Plant is demanding $10 million, some people would think that that's a ridiculous number. Some people would think that maybe Caleb Plant really doesn't want the fight. But I agree with what Caleb Plant's promoter, Lou DiBella, said. It's not too much when you consider the fact that, according to reports at least, Billy Joe Saunders made $8 million. And Caleb Smith, he made $6 million. And Lou DiBella, he believes that Caleb Plant should get more than them because Billy Joe Saunders and Smith were very unknown out here in the States. So I think he's definitely going to get the money that he wants. That's Caleb Plant. If it's only a $2 million difference from the Billy Joe Saunders fight. But man, talk about a pay raise. Caleb Plant probably went from making a couple $100,000 a fight, and now he's talking about making $10 million to fight Canelo Alvarez. It's funny because Canelo Alvarez, he was telling Demetrius Andrade that he only wanted a payday. But yet, this is the second, and matter of fact, this is like the third time that this has happened to Canelo. It probably happened even more than that, but more recently. This is like the third time this happened where Canelo, he wanted to fight a particular European fighter, and they all asked for more money. Kovalev asked for more money. That's why negotiations fell apart the first time they negotiated. Billy Joe Saunders wanted more money. Now Caleb Plant wants more money. But you don't mind if these guys want a payday. Only if Demetrius Andrade wants a payday. Sure, we know what time it is. So I'm sure Caleb Plant, he's going to get the payday he's asking for. Because Canelo Alvarez, once again, he wants to call himself undisputed and arguably one of the weakest divisions in the sport, at least when it comes to who is champion in that division. So with that being said, we'll see if Canelo Alvarez gives him the $10 million he's asking for. You know, Caleb Plant, he just recently said it's an insult to compare him to Billy Joe Saunders. But the interesting thing is Caleb Plant, or Billy Joe Saunders rather, he was actually up on the scorecards when it came to the DAZN commentators. Chris Mannix is the biggest, the most loyal Canelo Alvarez fan. And he had Billy Joe Saunders up when the fight was stopped. So did Sergio Mora. Also, Carl Froch. Carl Froch, he said he had only gave Canelo 2 rounds in the whole fight. So my point is, if Caleb is saying, you know, it's an insult to be compared to him, man, if you could do as good as Billy Joe Saunders, you would actually have a chance of possibly winning the fight. If you feel you're way better than BJ, then you shouldn't really lose any rounds in the fight. Listen, guys, there's no doubt about it. Caleb Plant is a really good boxer, but with being a good boxer, you have to have great defense. It almost defeats the purpose of being a great boxer if your defense is not top-notch. When he fought against Jose Uzcategui, he actually did really good. He showed really good defense in the first half of that fight. But in the second half of that fight, he started to get hit a lot, and he even got hurt in that fight. And if you know Jose Uzcategui, you know he's no Canelo. He's a lot slower. He's not a boxer. He's more of just a brawler, you know. So it's going to be an uphill battle for Caleb Plant, no doubt about it. On top of that, Caleb doesn't really have any power. And it's just crazy because coincidentally, all of these European or European American in this case, all of these European fighters that Canelo Alvarez is facing at 168, none of them really have power. The only fighters that have the power are the fighters that Canelo aren't fighting, which are fighters like Jamal Charlo, David Benavidez, even Demetrius Andrade, compared to, you know, a Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant. These are the guys that have the power. And that's the reason why Canelo Alvarez, he doesn't mind giving out paydays when it comes to Abney Yildirim, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant, and Caleb Smith. These fighters could have called up Canelo Alvarez directly before they fought, before there was a contract or anything, and just told Canelo directly, hey man, I'm just looking for a payday. Can we go ahead and fight? Plus I got this belt. Canelo be like, hell yeah, you gonna get the payday of your life. As long as Canelo feels it's a guaranteed win where he has damn near a 90% chance of winning, he don't mind giving out paydays. And that's what it is. I predict in this fight that Canelo Alvarez, he will be getting outboxed, just like he got outboxed against Kovalev, just like he got outboxed against Amir Khan, just like he got outboxed against Billy Joe Saunders, just like he got outboxed by Lara. And then in the later rounds, he's going to eventually catch Plant with something, and that's going to change the dynamic. And this is what happens when you're in there with a limited fighter. Eventually, you will catch up with them if you're giving these fighters a head start in the race, because you know that they're not that fast and you could easily catch up with them. But when you give the wrong guy a head start, and understand what I mean when I say head start, basically that just means when you start off a fight and you're down on the scorecards, you're getting outboxed because you know you're going to catch up with him eventually. That type of head start. You give the wrong type of guy a head start. What if this guy was already faster than you from the jump? Now you can never catch up with him because he's not slow like Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant, or Smith. You know, now that I think about it, Canelo Alvarez, he said the exact same thing going into this Saunders fight that Diego Corrales said going into the Mayweather fight. Canelo, he said that it's going to take me a while to catch up with him, but I'm going to eventually stop him around the 6th or the 8th round. This is what he said, right? Now, Diego Corrales, who was an aggressive fighter, who also used to get outboxed for the first couple rounds, he would always have a smile on his face like, yeah, I'm going to catch up with you eventually. I remember going into the Mayweather fight, Diego actually said, I'm going to lose like the first 4 rounds. He said, I'm going to lose like the first 4 rounds, and then eventually I'm going to catch up with him, and then I'm going to knock him out. But unfortunately for him, he kept losing rounds, and then eventually Floyd Mayweather caught up with him by stopping him. So guys, I just can't wait until we see Canelo Alvarez in real fights. Those real Diego Corrales type of fights. Hell, even the Golovkin fights when he fought against Golovkin. You know, sometime because of Canelo's lack of opposition, his weak opposition today, sometimes when I'm working out, I'll watch just certain fights, you know, just remember the glory days where you had fights that really meant something. And that was one of the fights in Canelo's career that meant something because it was a 50-50 fight. They were going back and forth. Both fighters were on the same level. And these are the type of fights that we're supposed to have consistently in the sport of boxing. But if it's up to Canelo, he may never come off of this European tour that he's on right now, unless one of those tough European fighters that really poses a threat, like Dmitry Bivol, starts knocking at the door. But for now, we'll see what happens in this Caleb Plant fight. We'll see if Caleb even takes the fight. Hell, once again, I think he should ask for more money. As bad as Canelo wants this fight, I think he should ask for even more money. It's an uphill battle for Caleb Plant, no doubt about it. I mean, he has no power. Not only does he have no power, but now Canelo Alvarez, he has got the approval from the WBC to fight on PEDs. That's right. I'm going to keep telling you guys this. This is really important to know. Everyone needs to know now, when you are fighting Canelo Alvarez, you are fighting a Canelo Alvarez on approved PEDs by the WBC president. For those of you guys who don't know this, when Canelo Alvarez was training for the second Golovkin fight, he tested positive for PEDs, clenbuterol. He was actually suspended. You know what the WBC did? The WBC, he increased the levels of clenbuterol. So the same amount that was in Canelo Alvarez's system when he got suspended, he can now use without failing a test. You guys think this will go down in any other sport in the world? from the NBA to the NFL to the Olympics, man, they would laugh in your damn face if you said, you know what, can we increase the levels of clenbuterol because of the contaminated meat in Mexico? Man, they would laugh your ass out the room. So this is what Canelo is facing if he takes the Canelo fight. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Hello, my name is Dominic. I just got my procedure done here at ScalpCarolinas. I was recommended by Dontaesboxingnation, and it's real. You know, here's the results. The brother out here, Brother Enoch, is real, and it's a very, very, very good recommendation. I recommend it. 4 hours, you in, you out, and it's the rest of your life.
So if anyone in the world wants this hookup, make sure you contact my man Enoch at 704-499-3471 and make sure to follow him on Instagram. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.